good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel. Check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to speak on a recent episode of Nightcap that I watched with Shannon Sharpe, Joe Johnson, and Chad Ochocinco, right? And basically they were discussing why teams don't want Trae Young, right? Why there's not a big demand for Trae Young. Now, I made other videos where I said that where I think, in my opinion, like if Trae Young went to the Minnesota Timberwolves, he would be able to fit in with somebody like with Anthony Edwards, right? Is that Minnesota? Yeah, Minnesota Timberwolves. He'll fit in with Anthony Edwards. That's one of the teams I think he'll fit in with. Let me see. Where else do I think he would fit in? I think he would fit in with Giannis, if he was to go to Milwaukee. But I think it's like a limit. He needs to go somewhere where there's a definite superstar. And there's only a superstar that needs help. And then when he gets to that destination, if he do happen to make it to either one of these two destinations, he has to be more of a playmaker, not a playmaker, but a facilitator to these guys. He can't be a shoot first type point guard. He has to play his role in order for them that whatever team he go to have success. And also you have to keep in mind that I don't even think he's 6 feet tall. He might be 6 feet tall. Let's give him 6 feet. And on a defensive end, he has a liability, right? And so that's part of the reason why, in my opinion, there's not really a big, a heavy demand for not that he can't play, but he got to be more of a facilitator, in my opinion, and he got to be in the right situation in order for him to have success in the league, as far as like going to the playoffs and potentially getting deep into the playoffs and having making it to a championship, right? So with that being said, I want to play the audio from Nightcat because Shannon Sharpe and Joe Johnson discussed this also, and I want to listen to them and come back and give my input on what they had to say.
Joe, the Hawks may look to trade Trae Young this season before he makes the decision on his 2026 player option, but that's if there's a trade market for him. An anonymous exec, it's hard to think that a team trying to win this season that Trae would help, especially when you factor in what the team would be losing from players you would have to send back as matching salaries. He doesn't defend, he doesn't rebound, and guys hate playing with him. Damn. NBA insider Mark Stein also reported there's a growing belief league-wide that the Hawks are more open to trading Trae away than they've ever been, but it doesn't seem like there's interest that's being met with a bidding war. Joe, you're in Atlanta.
See, all right, so Shannon Sharpe says an exec said that he don't rebound, he don't defend, and guys hate playing with him. And so as a point guard, like I said, you got to be a facilitator. A point guard is your number one job is to set that offense and get those guys, get everybody else involved in the offense. And if they saying that they hate playing with a point guard, that means that you are not really, you're not doing your job. I always bring up how Dean Smith told Kenny Smith, he was at North Carolina. Kenny Smith said he had one of the best games, of his career. He was at North Carolina. He was hot. He was scoring. After the game, Dean Smith, brought him back down to earth and told him, I didn't bring you here as a point guard for that. You the point guard. That's not your job. You have 4 other All-Americans on this team. You need to be a facilitator and get those guys involved in the offense. I don't need you scoring and doing that and pissing off my All-Americans. They're not going to want to stay here. And it works the same way at the professional level. Guys don't want to be sprinting up and down the court, getting rebounds, and just giving you the ball so you can take long threes. They don't want to do that. And especially if the team is not having no success, it's hard for a point guard to be able to get away with that for extended periods of time. And it's hard for a point guard. It's hard to get somebody to play alongside a point guard. Like somebody like Allen Iverson back in the day, like that was a rarity, right? Allen Iverson was a high volume shooter. He wasn't all that efficient. He was just a high volume shooter. And that worked for Philadelphia, for the Sixers at the time. But for the most part, you're not going to be and Allen Iverson more so was a two guard. But even for a two guard, I think Allen Iverson like 6'1". But even for a guard, and you got the center, the power forward, and everybody else on the team just facilitating you and the team, that you gotta have success like that in order for teams to be able to overlook it. And they're not having enough success, right? So, and with that being said, let me get back to some more of what Shannon Sharpe and Joe Johnson had to say.
You know this team, you played with this team for a number of years. Can you see a scenario in which the Hawks do in fact trade Trae Young?
I don't see them trading him, Uncle Ocho. I think that I can see them playing it out. I think, me personally, yeah, we got guys on the squad. When Trae's not playing, we can win some games. But man, if you're talking about winning a playoff series or advancing, trying to get to a finals, just to even get close, you're going to need a game changer like Trae. I know we got Jalen Johnson, but you're going to need two guys, man. Y'all know in this game, bro, you need at least 2 or 3 guys to be able to get you over the hump. So I think with him spraining his MCL, early in this season, obviously it's taking him a little while to kind of get back in rep form. I think offensively he's been playing pretty great. The wins just hasn't been there when he's been playing as of late. But if you ask me, I don't think they should trade him right now, man. I think they got to fine-tune on what they have. The East isn't that tough. It is a few teams that's pretty good, but I think the Hawks still have a pretty good chance. You have to be clicking at the right time, man. You got to hope when March and April come around, you playing high-level basketball.
Yeah, I think that Trae Young, he has to be more of a facilitator. And a lot of guys today, especially these, I'm not gonna say especially guards, but a lot of guys today, they just jack up these 3-pointers and it's long rebounds, meaning that like if your center and your guy's not gonna be able to get a lot of those rebounds because they be long rebounds. And the long rebounds turn into easy, fast break points. So then people can't get back in time to defend, right? And so if Trae is not a defender, then he really hurting the team because when he back there, like you could throw the ball over the top for an easy lob dunk. And who's going to sign up for that?
The worst thing that can happen, Joe, and this firsthand, Ocho, is that getting hurt and the team get an opportunity to look at other guys. If Jalen Johnson, because Trae's going to demand the ball, going to command the ball. Yes, if Jalen Johnson are we going to see Nickeil Alexander-Walker do what he does? So now him being removed, Joe, other guys got an opportunity. Jalen Johnson's going to be an all-star. They're like, and he's 6'7", 6'8". It's hard to win with a 6'2", unless you're Steph Curry, who's transcendent, Isaiah. But more times than not, you got to be a big guard. You got to be Kobe. You got to be Michael Jordan. It's great.
And that's the thing, right? Like what Shannon Sharpe just said, right? It is extremely hard to have any type of success as far as like winning in the league with a small guard. Isaiah, and I think about Isaiah, Steph Curry, and Allen Iverson, right? And I don't even know if I should include Allen Iverson in there because Allen Iverson didn't win a championship. But when you talk about Isaiah Thomas and Steph Curry, they won championships at their size in the league. But this, Trae is not them. So it's hard, and teams they see that like it's changed. The league is changing. You got in the East. I mean, not just in the East, but just like the guards. Most of the guards, you got Tyrese Halliburton. I think I don't know how tall he is, but he's way bigger than Trae, way taller than Trae. the guards are having success. Then you have Jalen, what's his name? Jalen Brown, Jason Tatum, all those. You talking about big guys. Trae can't really compete with them. It's gonna be hard for what's the guy in New York, Brunson. It's gonna be hard for Jalen Brunson to advance through the playoffs and get New York into a championship because he's not a big guy. And the more efficient you can be, as far as scoring is concerned, you got to be able to get a shot off, a good shot against bigger guys. And the small guys can't be as efficient as somebody who's 6'6", 6'5", 6'5", 6'6" on up. They can't be as efficient, and they're gonna have to shoot. It's all about the numbers. It comes down to like the guys who high volume shooters typically don't have like success like that. And he jacking up a whole lot of shots. It's just not going to be beneficial. And if he can't even in this regular series, in the regular season, he's not having any success. Just imagine how he would look in the playoffs. So let me get back to some more of this interview.
As Allen Iverson was, he couldn't get them over. You got to be a big guard, and he's not. I don't know if he's 6 foot. So, and the thing is, like they said, well, he doesn't rebound. He doesn't play defense. And we're seeing that happen to Luka. Luka's 6'7", but it's like his feet nailed to the floor.
Yeah.
So while he might light you up on what happens, see, the problem is that when Luka has an off night, his guy is never going to have an off night because he can always get to the ball, get to the rim on Luka. Mm-hmm. Same thing with Trae. Trae is so small and he doesn't play defense. He's not a pesky. Sometimes guys are small, Joe. They're pesky defenders. Mm-hmm. He's not
like Caruso.
Yeah, and see that's Allen Iverson. Like he used to come up with steals. He'll shoot those gaps and get a breakaway, layup or something like that. Trae is not that dude. He's not a pesky defender. Whereas though, like a Muggsy Bogues, was 5'3", and he will hound you up all the way around the court. Like he would disrupt your offense. But you're not getting that from this guy Trae. And then if guys don't like playing with you and all you do is shoot, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to move him, especially when you're talking about giving up pieces or giving up draft choices for him, and then he don't command that value that he thinks he commands. So that's my take on it. Everybody, I want y'all to make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. And with that being said, I'll check you all out in the next video. Peace.